Hello, everyone, and welcome to the long-awaited podcast. I am delighted to be joined by Kyan. His channel link will be in the description. So yeah, go and drop him a sub. He is close to 500. So yeah.
Yes, very close.
And today we're going to be basically talking about / previewing the whole of the upcoming EFL season. So yeah. Without further ado, like and subscribe, and let's go.
All right. So, for those who aren't aware, I'm a Carlisle United supporter. Definitely not, the most enjoyable thing, but it does the job. So, I have limited knowledge on League Two and who I think's going up and down this season, basically. So I guess I'll just talk about the teams that could potentially go up. So it's a given that obviously the four teams that have been relegated down into League Two with Bristol Rovers, Rochdale, and we also have Swindon and it's Northampton as well that have come down. I expect Bristol Rovers to do relatively well again. Not sure if they'll win the title, but they'll definitely be up near the automatics in the playoffs. So I'm looking forward to seeing them play this season. Got a few exciting transfers over the line so far this season. Brought in a few players. Obviously, there's been the whole controversy with Joey Barton. He's obviously had court dates recently, but they expect that from Joey Barton. It's a very Joey Barton thing. But so there's going to be some disarray around the club, but I think they can get through and maybe have a good result. I think Port Vale are another team to look out for. They finished last season very, very strong with Darrell Clark at the helm as well. He's a very qualified manager for that team. They've been very, very good so far last season, and they start off against Northampton this season, so it'll be a tough game to get them underway. But I reckon Port Vale will finish around the playoff areas. Are there any teams in League Two that you've been keeping an eye on, all that you think might go?
Well, I think obviously, as you said, the relegated clubs are going to be obviously favourites to be in and around the top half playoffs, automatics. I think your team, Carlisle, they've got a good chance. Zach Clough's been very good in pre-season.
I'd like to think so, yeah. I'd like to think so.
I think he'll get at least as a minimum playoffs. If I was to make a prediction right now, I'd probably say third, which is automatic promotion in League.
I hope so, yeah, I hope. I think I'd take playoffs for Carlisle. Because obviously, I think we've still to strengthen some spots in our team. I still think we need another left side defender, and I also think perhaps another winger. But apart from that, I think that the team's pretty solid all around. Obviously, you said about Zach Clough, who's been impeccable so far in pre-season, but obviously he's been against some lower league teams. We haven't seen him play against a proper opponent yet. When he played against Blackpool, he was okay, but that's a championship side. That doesn't really gauge how we're going to be going into the season. But yeah, it looks pretty positive overall during pre-season. Obviously, our season kicks off tomorrow against Colchester. I'll be going to that one. So hopefully he pulls off something there and be a good start to the season for the Blues. I'm saying we're going to finish third or fourth. I think I'd take any spot in the playoffs, really. Automatics will be a dream come true, but I think Bradford and other teams like that look very strong this season with, Bradford being managed by the ex-Morecambe manager, whose name does escape me. But he's very, very qualified, very good indeed. Drops back down from League One to manage them, so he really does stand out to me for this season. But yeah, hopefully Carlisle can do well. Got high hopes for them.
So I think Nigel Clough's Mansfield, that they've obviously, I think with Nigel Clough being there, I think they'll be in and around the playoffs. I think they might just get the playoffs or they might just miss out. So I think they've got a good chance as well. And I think this might be quite a surprise. I mean, it might not be. Leyton Orient, I think they'll be in and around the playoffs.
Yeah, I've been keeping an eye on Orient. They look quite good.
Yeah, because I think there's some one or two League One players. So
yeah, well, we obviously signed our new striker, Tristan Abrahams from Newport, but he was on loan at Leyton Orient last season. But now without Abrahams there, they have called upon Sotiru, who is I believe he plays as a winger normally, but he's a striker now for Leyton Orient. He's a Cypriot 19-year-old. He's really good. I think he's definitely one to watch this season. He'll definitely be the standout man for Orient. And let's not forget, Leyton Orient have held two Premier League sides to draws during their pre-season, 0-0 against West Ham and 1-1 against Tottenham, where the man I'm talking about, Sotiru, did score. So yeah, Leyton Orient definitely want to watch this season in the League Two.
Yeah, As I think Port Vale, as you also mentioned a moment ago, they could definitely be up there. I think they did very well. They did very well against Forest in their pre-season game. Forest won.
Oh yeah.
Good.
Yeah, I remember hearing about that one against Forest that they had. And I think I do want to take a minute to actually talk about their form at the end of last season. It'll take me a minute to find it, but if you just want to talk about what you want to talk about, I'll come back in a moment with the form that they had at the end of last season.
Yeah. So I think, obviously Bristol Rovers, Northampton, I think those are going to be the two of the relegated clubs that I think will definitely be challenging up there. And, Carlisle, I do think if I was to make predictions, I think Carlisle will be third. I think Leyton Orient will probably get sixth. Port Vale in seventh. I think Bristol Rovers will probably finish second. I'm still very unsure about the first place. I'll probably have to wait for some more signings before that. But definitely, obviously, Mansfield, I think Nigel Clough, he knows what he's doing. He's definitely, in my opinion, he's an upper League One manager, arguably a lower end Championship manager. So I think at the top end of the League Two, it's going to be very tight, I think.
Always is, yeah. Always is. So yeah, I just want to quickly touch on Port Vale again. Since Darrell Clarke, their new manager, was appointed, they won 2-1 against Newport County, 1-0 against Colchester, 3-1 against Crawley, 1-0 against Exeter, 2-0 against Harrogate, 1-0 against Morecambe. We held them to a draw, Cali United. We held them to a 0-0. They beat Barrow 2-0 and then Bradford 2-1. They then tapered off a little bit at the end of last season. They were dealing with some injury issues. They lost to Grimsby Town 1-0, but they were on 10 men. And then they lost 3-0 to Mansfield, which is obviously a good way for Mansfield to end the season. And like you said, they could be up and around the playoffs. So I think if Darrell Clarke is given the players that he needs, which I think he definitely has been so far, quickly speaking about Mansfield, Port Vale have signed Malvin Benning, who was a long-term left-back at Mansfield. He was very good in the time that he was at the club. I think he'll be a big addition to that team. They've also, I believe it's Port Vale that have signed the ex-Torquay goalkeeper, who scored in the National League playoff finals in the final minute of the game. So he's an exciting signing for them as well. And I think both those teams, Port Vale and Mansfield, definitely wants to watch.
I think that they could well be sort of dark horses for the even.
Yeah, certainly.
I think they might both get playoffs, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, they definitely could. I think with League Two, it's like it's always so tight there. Like it could always come down to the last day. It very much normally does for one or two teams. It comes down to the last day or whether they'll get playoffs or not. So it's a big thing to be a part of.
Yeah.
If I wouldn't mind, I want to talk about the other end of League Two. The teams that I believe could go down.
Yeah.
I made a tweet the other day saying that Hartlepool would finish bottom. I don't actually believe that statement. It was a joke. It did rattle a couple of Hartlepool fans, so I achieved what I set out to do. But Hartlepool, I think, will actually have a relatively strong season. I think they'll be kind of safe from that. Sutton United, I'm not sure how well they'll do, honestly. I don't see much coming from Sutton United this season. I'm very happy for them that they're in the fourth tier of English football. They worked really hard last season. They deserve to be here. But already they're running into issues like they've had to postpone the first two fixtures because they have to lay like natural grass onto their pitch because they had a turf pitch beforehand. So they're having to do that. That's getting in the way of stuff. None of their players in their squad really shouts anything to me. I can't really say I recognise any of these players here. Enzio Baldwin is one that I've heard the name of before. He might be good, but the team just looks a bit underwhelming for me. I'd be very happy for Sutton to prove me wrong, and I probably will do a League Two predictions video at some point where I will talk about this in length. Obviously, they have Isaac Alofo, or Isaac Alofa, I think is how you say his name.
Yeah.
On loan from Millwall, I believe it was, last season. He's just got back to them recently. He was immense last season. He got 14 goals for them last season for Sutton United. So if they can maybe bring him back for a second loan spell, because people are saying Millwall could be challenging for championship playoffs. I think if they let Isaac Alofa come back to Sutton, he could definitely be an impactful player for them this season.
Yeah. So obviously, I'm more aware of the upper ends of League Two than I am the bottom ends as well.
Yeah.
I was aware that I think Southend got relegated. Did Grimsby get relegated as well?
It was Southend and Grimsby that went down. Yeah, it was. I mean, I think with Southend, it was just like they were always going to. I think they were just in too much financial danger. really. And, the players and stuff that they had, there was loads of scandalous stuff going around the club. So that's kind of why that happened. But I would like to quickly say about another team that could be a dark horse or going down. I really don't know. It's so hard to tell with this team. Oldham Athletic. They could either have an absolute storm of a season, go for playoffs, or they could go completely right down. And that is, it's a very odd situation for them. They currently have Keith Curl at the helm, which former Carlisle United manager. He was quite good for us, to be fair, in the time he was here. Then he went on to manage Northampton and get them promoted. Now he's back with a League Two side, Oldham Athletic. They have some standout players, which I do want to quickly talk about. Dylan Barmbula being the main one that I'd like to mention quickly. He was on trial with Middlesbrough in the off-season, but has returned now to Oldham Athletic. Whether that's the Middlesbrough didn't want to sign him or they didn't feel he was good enough yet, he's a very versatile player. He can play striker, centre forward, right wing, right mid. He's all over the place, really. I think he'll be a really star man for them this season. And there's other players they have, like Zach Durnley, who's, I believe he's only 20 or 21. He's 22, sorry. He's still got a lot of his career ahead of him. He looks very promising as well. But I think that's definitely an odd team to watch out for. Oldham Athletic this season. They could go down, they could go up. No one really knows yet. Last season, Oldham, I believe it was they scored the most goals, but also conceded the most goals. So if they don't strengthen the defence and the attack, strengthening the defence in general, there's going to be issues there because you can score as many goals as you want. If you concede a lot, it doesn't really matter.
Yeah. So now you've said that, they're probably going to finish slap bang in the middle of the table.
Yeah, they probably will now that I've given them this whole, story arc. They'll probably finish 12th, but who knows? And League Two is one of those leagues where it's hard to predict because so many of the teams are on such a similar level. Like there's a few that will do well and they'll do bad, but the majority of the table they're so tight together, the teams that are in there.
Yeah. So is that all you want to say about League Two?
I guess. I mean, there's not many other teams I'm keeping an eye on. I mean, obviously Newport County could be back for redemption after their loss in the playoffs. They could try and go back up. Like I said earlier, I think Bradford City, I fancy them to go up. Haven't spoken about Salford yet, so I will briefly. Obviously owned by all that group of ex-Man United players, and let's be honest, they haven't really done a great job with them yet. Obviously, they haven't been promoted since they got up to League Two and underperformed most seasons, some would say. They've got a good squad, they've got a mix of experience like Darren Gibson and George Boyd, and they've also got young players like Robbie Gotts, who's on loan from Leeds. There's a lot of mixed feelings I have about that team. Conor McAlhenney, who signed from Oldham Athletic, the team I was just talking about, he's a very good signing for them last season and a few seasons beforehand. Conor McAlhenney, for example, 37 appearances for Oldham, 17 goals. Very good from him. He was a really standout player for them last season, so he could do well for them. But yeah, Salford could also be ones to go.
So that is everything we're going to say on League Two. Personally, I think Carlisle have probably got a very good chance. Port Vale, as we said, I think they've got good chances of automatic promotion. But we're going to move on to talking about League One. So I've got some notes because neither of us are like League One supporters. I'm a Championship fan.
No.
Kinds of.
I haven't seen Carlisle in League One in a long time. Too long. I have not seen them in League One, so I don't know much about League One. I only know like the key teams really. So we'll see how we go with this.
Yeah. So if our knowledge is a little bit lesser than it is, sorry, please don't hurt me.
We don't know much about this league.
So I've got some notes on who the upper end teams will be, but so I'm going to talk about who I think are going to win the league. I think Wycombe will win the league. I think they will.
Fair enough.
They've lost their two key players, but
yeah,
I like the signing of Sam Vokes. I like that a lot. They've signed Sam Vokes from Stoke, and I think he'll probably be their top scorer. Him and Akin Fenwa up front, that would just be.
Man, the thing is though, I hear so many Wycombe fans saying Akin Fenwa just isn't even all that. Like, apparently, he just isn't actually that good. Like, for example, 33 games in the Championship last season, 1 goal, 1 assist. Like, that's abysmal for a striker. But with the right striker pairing, you never know, do you? He could be really good at some point.
I think that's sort of what I saw from moments of with Wycombe is sort of he would be sort of if you play like a 4-4-1-1, he would be sort of these centre forwards.
Yeah, playing in behind.
Yeah.
Well, let's be honest, he doesn't exactly have the pace to, sprint ahead as a striker and blister away from defenders. But yeah. And I think now that, like you said, they've lost Uche Piazzu, that's definitely a big blow for them, really. He was their main goal scoring guy last season. He had a great left foot on him. He was an amazing striker, but he's gone to Middlesbrough now and they're without him. But they have reinforced with Sule Kaikai from he used to play for Blackpool. He Sierra Leone international as well. Played in the Africa Cup of Nations qualification games. 7 goals and 8 assists last season for Blackpool in League One. So there could be very exciting things coming from him. I'm really excited to see how he plays for Wycombe.
Yeah, but I think that guy that you said had gone to Middlesbrough, I can't say his name. I think
Uche Piazzu, yeah.
Yeah, I think Sam Vokes will probably be his replacement. I think
yeah,
there will
definitely
be more additions, but I do think Wycombe will win the league. I think they will be promoted back up in one way.
Yeah.
Also, they haven't spent that much money. They've spent about £2 million, and I believe all of that has been on Sam Vokes. So I think Sam Vokes.
But the thing is, though, like they had a championship squad, didn't they? Really, so I guess you could trust them again. And I want to talk about the Wycombe gaffer quickly, Gareth Ainsworth, top class, top quality manager in my opinion. Last season, even to get the wins that he did against some of the teams with Wycombe and the team spirit he obviously gave them. I know they finished bottom and I know they went down, but it was a valiant performance from the Chairboys, in my opinion. They were really, really good last season, considering the chance they were given.
I'd love to agree with you about them finishing bottom, but they finished 22nd.
Oh, did they finish 22nd? All right. Well, you know what I mean. They'll finish in a relegation spot, I guess. But he still gave them the fight to fight through that, really.
It's just, they played Derby earlier on in the season. They lost 2-1, and the winner was scored in the 90th minute. If they had just held on to get a 1-1 draw, they would have stayed up. So
yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's just those what ifs, isn't it? But I guess it's happened now. It's all said and done.
Yeah, but I think they will go up in whether that's title, second, or playoffs. I don't know. But yeah.
Should we briefly talk about Sunderland for League One? Being one of the bigger teams, really, I guess you'd expect them to go up. But the past 2 seasons, they've, got to the playoffs and then they've bottled it. Like they've bottled automatics, went to the playoffs, then lost the playoffs. Who can forget against Charlton Athletic way back when they lost to that last-minute goal at Wembley in the finals? That was absolute heartbreak for them. Happened again against Lincoln. Wasn't the last-minute goal, wasn't the final, but getting knocked out to Lincoln City as well. Big blow for them as well. And that's another team I do want to touch on, Lincoln City. Obviously, they had your lad Brennan Johnson on loan last season. Obviously, I think he's staying at Forest this season. He's a good talent. Forest want to keep him on the cards, but I think they could definitely make for a good second push this season to get up. They've got players. For example, I'm looking here at their squad. They have Dan and Ndulu, who I recognise. I believe he's from Southampton. He might be good for them this season. Could be very good. They've got a good squad overall. If they can do what they did last season again, they have a good chance of going up. But who knows, really?
Yeah. So I just want to go back onto Sunderland. I just want to say they made a signing with Alex Pritchard, which I do think is a very good signing.
Yeah, definitely.
If they could keep him
I was going to say he used to play for Huddersfield, didn't he? Very good player.
If they can keep him fit, then I think they've got a good player. I think they'll probably get playoffs again. Whether they'll win them or not is a different question.
Who knows? Honestly, at this point, with Sunderland, it's really hit or miss in the playoffs.
Yeah, and I'm going to talk about Sheffield Wednesday. They finished harshly bottom, which they were 22nd, 23rd the season, but final day heartbreak. They've made some good signings. They've got a good manager in Darren Moore.
I reckon Sheffield Wednesday will go straight back up. I think.
A lot of Sheffield Wednesday fans aren't overly confident. I'm quite surprised about that. They've made some very good signings.
Well, I mean, yeah, but I guess coming off a season where you've been relegated, you're not going to have that confidence.
And obviously, they've not really spent much either because of the financial situation.
I was just saying about how, although they have gone down, I guess you can see why the confidence in the fans is low, because after getting relegated, it is hard to look at the brighter side of things. But I think Sheffield Wednesday are definitely one of those teams that could go right back up.
Yes, I think obviously they haven't spent much because of the financial situation. They have made some good signings. They're like Lewis Wing on loan is a very good signing as well.
Yeah.
Bailey Peacock Farrell on loan.
He's definitely very good.
is a good goalkeeper. George Byers.
That's a brilliant signing from Burnley. He's top quality. Like last season, I saw him play in the Prem when Pope was injured at times, and he put in a fairly good shift. So it's a good signing for Sheffield Wednesday there, I think.
Yeah, they've got George Byers from Swansea. That is another good signing, and they've got Lee Gregory from Stoke. So I think those are some good signings. So I think
I might.
Yeah, I think
I'll let you continue.
Yeah, I've done. I think they will. I think they'll get top 6. Not sure whereabouts. I think the lowest they'll finish, in my opinion, is 4th. Really, I fancy them to go straight back up as well. It's just Sheffield Wednesday fans. I'm quite surprised with the signings they've made, even if they've been relegated. I'm quite surprised they're not more confident. Darren Moore's a great manager as well. And when he was at Doncaster,
I do want to talk about Darren Moore actually, if that's okay. Because obviously he's managed West Brom for a short amount of time. I believe he was involved with as well. Only lasted about a season there. Same with Doncaster, but it did good things for Doncaster. You know, he was quite good at Doncaster Rovers. But I think he can be the man to take Sheffield back up. I think Sheffield Wednesday. Don't be worried if any of their fans are listening to this. I think you're gonna have a good season.
Yeah, I think with Darren Moore, when he left Doncaster, I believe they were 5th or 6th in the league, so they were in the playoffs.
Yeah, exactly. He got them to a good point. Yeah.
So I think that's something. I think Darren Moore is a championship manager, in my opinion. It's just whether he needs to turn the losing mentality into a winning mentality, which is always very difficult.
Yeah, certainly. Oh yeah, definitely. It's hard to turn that around after so many bad things happening with your team. You've got to put them in gear to, go again, and it's one of the harder things to do. But once you do it, it's plain sailing from there, really.
And that's pretty much it I'm going to say about Sheffield Wednesday. If you want to add anything else, go ahead.
No, not really much else to say about Sheffield Wednesday. I want to talk about a potential dark horse for this season, which I don't think enough people are actually paying attention to. Burton Albion, to me, look a team that could do some good things in the league this season. I've been keeping tabs on them, after the end of last season, after they signed Omari Patrick from Carlisle United. I think that in itself is a brilliant signing for them. Incredibly talented player. Was definitely above League 2 level, so I'm glad that he's moved on to a bigger, better club, in the league above. He definitely deserves to play there. They also, don't forget, have players like Jacob Maddox, who used to play for, I believe it was Southampton, in their academy. Yeah. He was quite good for when he was there. They have players like Cameron Borthwick-Jackson, ex-Man United academy man. Ellery Balcom, very young, promising goalkeeper. Kieran O'Hara, who's, these keeper as well. And we can't forget the big man, Jimmy Floyd Hasselbank, as the manager. He could definitely do good things with them. I'm going to put Burton Albion as my dark horse for this League One season. I think they are going to finish. I don't even know if it's a dark horse in a way that they'll finish in the playoffs. I think they could. But I reckon Burton Albion will finish in the top 10 at least. I think they'll shock a lot of people.
Yeah. So I didn't put Burton Albion down, but I think with some of the players you've mentioned, I think they could definitely push top half. And
definitely.
I think another team as well that could potentially be a bit of a dark horse. I think Wigan, they scrape survival.
Yeah, Wigan could be all right.
Yeah, I think the main reason I'm saying this is Charlie White has gone there, and Charlie White was insane for Sunderland last season.
Incredible signing for them.
I'm still scratching my head how Forest didn't get him. He was available on a free, and he chose Wigan over Forest.
It's the fact that it's money talks in modern football. I think they've given him a mad contract. Really, it's like with Paul Mullin, League 2 top scorer last season. He's gone to Wrexham, which baffles me beyond belief. But I guess it's that Ryan Reynolds money kind of crooks you over there. But I don't know. I don't know how they've even managed to sign him, but it's an absolutely incredible signing for them. Could definitely help them push for a playoff spot, but they can't always rely on Charlie White, So they've got other things to be worrying about as well in that squad. Yeah,
they have got Jack Watmore from Portsmouth as well, who's a very decent centre. Of Max Power from Sunderland.
Definitely.
So I don't think they will get the playoffs.
Yeah, I heard about that.
I think they will miss out, but I think they will. It'll be a lot better.
It'll be a step in the right direction, really, for Wigan, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to talk about a team that I think could potentially be relegated and could be in that battle for most of the season, and that's Cambridge United. With Cambridge United, it's the fact that they got promoted in the first place was brilliant. They haven't been up there for a good while in League One. Can't say I'm a big fan of the club myself. There was a little petty rivalry between Carlisle United and them last season about like wanting to play the games earlier and stuff like that. It was all blown out of proportion in the end, but never really been a big admirer of Cambridge United. But at the same time, they do have some players that could help them out, but I don't have much hope for them for this upcoming season. They've got Wes Houlihan, who we all know was brilliant at Norwich, and he was also great at Cambridge last season. Paul Mullin, of course, they have lost him, and I think that is the main catalyst for them going down. I think if they kept Paul Mullin, they'd be able to stay up by a comfortable amount of points. But I think without Paul Mullin, the only other strikers that could really do well for them in the first team are Harvey Nibbs and maybe Sam Smith. So I don't see much happening for Cambridge this season. I think they'll go down. Whether it'll be rock bottom or not, I don't think they're going to stay up this season. I don't think they will.
Another team I do want to touch on. I don't think they will get relegated, but I think they'll be in the battle, maybe lower mid-table. Bolton. I think they deserve
you see, I don't know.
I don't think they'll go down. I'm just saying, I think they'll be
no.
Shot. Do you think they'll go down?
Yeah, no, I don't think they'll go down. I think they'll push for playoffs. I'm just going to say it now. I think they will. Bolton have an extensive budget. They have an extensive reach for these players. Despite being in these lower leagues, they're still Bolton Wanderers. They've got a lot of players that want to go to them because they are Bolton Wanderers, and that is, a brilliant club at the minute. They've still got a good manager in Ian Evatt, former Barrow manager who led Bolton to promotion last season. Players like Ricardo Santos, was one of the best defenders in League Two last season. Could easily continue that vein this season. Players like Kieran Lee, incredible midfielder. They've got Josh Sheehan signed from Newport County. Josh Sheehan, Wales international, obviously shared the pitch with Cristiano Ronaldo at one point. So that that's just a little taper point to add on there. Anthony Sarcevic, also a very good player. Owen Doyle, brilliant striker in League Two a couple of seasons ago. Xavier Amaeshi, obviously on loan, I believe, at Bolton Wanderers from, I believe it's Hamburg. But he's on loan from Hamburg at Bolton Wanderers, and he looks very promising. Dennis Politic looks very good. Dapo Afolayan from West Ham. The list goes on, really, of the players that these guys have. And I think they'll finish top half. And if they really, really try, I think they'll get sixth place.
Well, I thought I was being quite nice saying they'll get like mid-table, like maybe around 13th. But you've just got to pull that.
Yeah, I think they might.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah, well, but at the same time, it could go either of those ways, really. They could finish mid-table and be underwhelming, or they could go up. You can't really tell.
Yeah, well, I think they're going to be the best performing out of all of the newly promoted clubs, Bolton. But
yeah certainly.
So another team I want to talk about is.
I think it's just the budget as well helps them out. Yeah. They're still quite a rich club.
Yeah, true. That is true.
Don't drop out on Bolton. I think keep an eye on them.
Yeah, and another team I want to talk about for potential promotion is Portsmouth. They always seem to be in and around the promotion places. They were unfortunate to miss out on the playoffs. I know how that feels, Portsmouth fans, if there's any listening to this. But I think they've made some good signings. Danny Cowley, Nicky Cowley, I think the championship managers, to be fair. Well, manager and assistant.
Oh, certainly, yeah. Good standard managers, definitely.
Sean Williams from Millwall, experienced player. Ryan Tuncliffe from Luton, that was also free. And Kieran Freeman from
very good signing.
Free. Yes, those are probably the key signings that they have made. That they have made other signings as well. But I think.
Yeah, I think I don't want to interrupt, but I want to talk about another signing they have made. George Hurst. He's Leicester City Academy man. They signed. He was out on loan at Rotherham last season. And I'll be honest, he didn't have a good season at all. 32 games, and I don't even think he scored any. But I think alongside John Marquis, who is, a renowned good striker for that tier of football, I think if John Marquis passes on some of his play style and the stuff he knows to George Hurst, they could be a very good combination next season. Not to mention players that are already at the club like Ronan Curtis, etc. They have a very good squad, and although they do tend to miss out on playoffs a lot, I think they should get them this season.
I think. I'm quite surprised if they do keep hold of Ronan Curtis. I'll be quite surprised because he has been linked with championship clubs. But I think
he's been linked with big moves. Yeah.
Yeah, I think Pompey have just outpriced him because I think they wanted like $10.5 million for him, and
which they're never going to get for a League One player.
That is true. I think that would be maybe a League One record if they did get 10 and a half.
Oh, certainly, yeah.
So
yeah, definitely.
I think Portsmouth, I think they'll make playoffs. I think I'd say probably, if I was to take a guess, maybe around 5th. So yeah. But anyone else, any other teams you want to talk about?
I suppose Morecambe, I guess, obviously local rivals to Carlisle when they were down in League Two. Many good away days at Morecambe for Carlisle fans. Can't have them at the minute because they've gone up. We do have them in the cup though, so that'll be good. But yeah, Morecambe, I think it's one of them. They lost Carlos Mendes Gomez in the window. He was obviously their main man last season. He went to Luton Town. And I think Morecambe, I believe, will go back down. I think they'll finish like 22nd, 21st. I think they'll fight well, but I don't think they'll be doing much in League One next season. But apart from that, I guess I don't really have much to say. Like I said, I don't know about many teams in League One, so my judgment of this could be completely off.
So yeah, but I think that if that's all we're going to say about League One. So if there is any League One fans watching this and they're screaming at the screen about this, I apologise. We're not.
We haven't mentioned your team, or
yeah,
we don't know much.
We're not League One brain boxes, okay? But moving on to the Championship, this is where I think I have my best knowledge in this league.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, so let's just talk about the Championship. Do you want to start with the bottom three?
Yeah, I can do that. I can go through my potential bottom three. I think for me, my bottom three is going to be Huddersfield, Derby County, and it's a bit of a toss-up, the last one, between Blackpool and Peterborough, but I think I'm going to say Peterborough. I think the Posh, whilst having Johnson Clark-Harris in their ranks, I don't think he's going to stay there for much longer. If he hasn't already departed, obviously I haven't been keeping track of it. He might have already left at this point, but
he's still there.
I don't know. He's still there. I don't know if they'll be able to keep him going. They have just sold. I believe his name is Mo Issa. He's went to MK Dons from Peterborough, who was another one of their strikers last season. But they have Jack Marriott back on loan as well as Siriki Dembele. But I think Johnson Clark-Harris is bound to leave at some point, and I think without him, they won't do very well. Huddersfield Town kind of speaks for itself. They've been very underwhelming the past couple of seasons. You know, after that time where they got promoted many moons ago, they came back down at the Championship, and since then haven't really impressed. Obviously, Carlos Corberan, their current manager, has a very specific way that he likes to play football, and I'm not sure if he'll be able to employ that with this Huddersfield side. I'm not sure if this Huddersfield side will be able to adapt to it. They have good squad depth, you know, they've got lots of players all over the pitch. Young, exciting players like Levi Colwill on loan from Chelsea. You know, they have new signings they've made like Rolando Aarons, Dwayne Holmes, other players like that. But I still don't think any of it will be enough to keep them up. I think Huddersfield Town are going to go down. And I think this one, which will be music to your and a lot of your fans' ears, Derby County, I think are on the way down to League One. And I think it's pretty much a no-brainer. They barely have enough players to field a squad. In fact, I don't actually know if they do have enough players to field a squad for the first game of the season.
I think
they'll finish rock bottom. There's no hope for them this season.
They have
13 players.
They have 13 players. Yeah, they do. And one of them was injured by Wayne himself.
Yeah. Jason Knight, literally their most promising young player was injured by Wayne Rooney. They literally have enough players to field. They have enough players to field a starting 11 and like two subs. But the thing is, two of the players are keepers as well. So they have somewhat of a defence, very flimsy midfield, and a toothless attack, basically. I don't see anything happening for Derby County. I think they're finishing rock bottom.
Yeah, I put them there. It's not me being biased. I'm sorry, Derby fans, but how if you
they're never gonna succeed with this.
If you don't think you're in a relegation battle, please tell me why you don't think that. Please do.
Yeah, because you must be on something if you don't think Derby County are going down this season. I'm being honest. Like, and I feel sorry because Derby are one of those clubs. Like, I don't have any disdain towards them. I'm not a Forest fan like you are, so I don't have a disliking towards them. But they're not capable of doing anything good this season. I don't think it's going to be such a null season for them. There's not going to be any good points for them. Maybe a good win against the odd team here and there, but even that you'd be lucky to get. They'll be on track to get the lowest points ever in a season. I think they could even break the record of, you know, the 11 points that they got in the Prem like many years ago. I wouldn't be surprised if they went down on single-digit points this season. It really it's an embarrassing state of the team, isn't it?
Well, apparently, I believe 4 days ago, Wayne Rooney said there was going to be signings, and there's been no signings as far as I'm aware.
Yeah, there's not been any signings yet. I was going to say I haven't heard anything about that.
Yeah,
I can have a check quickly on the transfers, but I'm not seeing any transfers here for Derby. I'm currently using FotMob to check over all my stats and stuff here. I'm not seeing any signings. All I can see is the ones they made in the January window or like before the season. So, like, for example, Patrick Roberts and Benny Banijime. They're the only ones I can see. There's been no signings this window. They said they were trying to bring in some free agents, I believe, but even then, they're not going to help. It's like there's no hope for Derby this season, honestly.
The best player that they potentially could get is Ravel Morrison on a free transfer. That's the best player that they could get.
Well, there you go. Then season saved, isn't it? Really, Ravel Morrison. That sounds fine to me. I'm sure they'll be fine with Ravel Morrison. Renowned for having a horrid attitude. He's not going to do well in a championship relegation threatened side. He'll start having a paddy and kicking off.
Yes, like their only recognised striker is Colin Kazim Richards, who got single figures for goals. No Martin Waghorn, who saved your season. Let's not hide it. He scored a brace.
Yeah, Martin Waghorn.
No Jack
Literally
Marriott.
the best player they had at some point.
Jack
Marriott, yeah, he's gone to Peterborough, I believe.
Yeah, and he didn't do much for you. Okay, but their only recognised striker is Colin Kazim Richards. They have no fixed centre backs. They have one centre back, and he's currently injured for a good chunk of the start of the season. So it doesn't look good for Derby. It doesn't. It's not me being biased. It just
not at all.
And apparently they're organising.
Yeah, part of me does feel. I mean, part of me does feel sorry for them because it's like it's a team that it's a classic thing again of just teams being managed badly, like with the board and behind the scenes and with the EFL. Like it happens to too many teams now where these kind of things happen. But yeah, if we're just talking about performances this season, there's no hope for Derby at all.
Yeah, and also you said Huddersfield. I think Huddersfield will go down. I think they will. I think some people said last season that Huddersfield were the best footballing side in the Championship.
Definitely not. Mile off. Nowhere.
So the best footballing side in the Championship. Okay. Hence the reason you lost 7-0 to Norwich City. Okay. Best footballing side.
That was embarrassing.
And just the most embarrassing thing, like a week later, they're going to beat Forest 2-0, which I wasn't at all salty about that game. Not at all. Right, so Huddersfield, I do think they will go down, but I think it'll be a toss-up between them and Blackpool. I think Blackpool will.
I have hope for Blackpool, I have hope for Blackpool. I think Blackpool will stay up.
I put Blackpool 21st in my predictions, and I think it's going to go down to the final day.
Yeah, I think they'll definitely stay up.
I've got a prediction.
Yeah, I guess.
Bold prediction. Right.
Prediction.
It's 0-0 between Blackpool and whoever they have on the final day. It's a corner. As it stands, they're relegated. Goalkeeper, everyone goes up. The corner goes in, and Richard Keogh with a bullet header will head it in, and that will save them. If that happens,
Big Richard Keogh. Oh, I love the man. I actually do. I know there's like a bit of a running joke on like you're not the one surrounding him about Richard Keogh, but because ex-Collie United player, he was great for us. I truly do love Richard Keogh. But
to be honest, that is a good signing for Blackpool. He's got bags and bags of experience.
It's a very good signing. Exactly. Yeah. Like when he came on against us in the pre-season friendly, we were all going about Keogh with the Keogh chants. We still love Richard Keogh at Brunton Park, but I think Blackpool will definitely stay up. I think after seeing them play in an actual match against Carlisle, obviously it's a championship side against League Two, so obviously we are weaker opponents than the ones they will be facing this season. But they did play some very good football. They played us off the park for the first 45. We were good the second half, but when you let Blackpool play their football, they really do excel. And I think if they can find a way to play their football this season against these championship sides, they'll definitely stay up.
Yeah, I think they will. I feel like I'm the only person who's predicting Peterborough to step. I put them 19th in my predictions. So I think they keep hold of, if they keep hold of Clark Harris, which I do think they will, because it only seems to be championship teams that are interested in. I think they will stay up. I think the risk is it's kind of like how Villa have been for a few seasons with Jack Grealish. They rely too much on that one player, and if that happens
Yeah,
and he gets, say, suspended or injured, then they could be in trouble. But I think I love the
yeah.
signing of George Grant from Lincoln. 16 goals and 16 assists last season. I think that is
Very,
great.
very good signing. Very good signing.
I think it was
The fact that
Josh Knight.
Lincoln weren't able to hold on to him. I know it isn't to do with the EFL, but you actually did briefly mention about Jack Grealish.
Mm,
Can we quickly just talk about Jack Grealish to see? Can we just straight off topic for 1 second to talk about that?
yeah,
That transfer is mental. That is the maddest transfer ever in English football. 100 million for Jack Grealish. Jack Grealish isn't even worth 70 million. Jack Grealish is worth 60 million at most. And I know a lot of Villa fans will probably try and take me up on that, but he's not worth more than that. He's a very good player, don't get me wrong, class player, brilliant player. But the 100 million clause was put on his contract because Aston Villa firmly believed nobody would pay for it. I'm not surprised that City paid for it because we love how much they love to spend money. Pep Guardiola's almost spent $1 billion in 4 seasons. That's mad as well. I won't talk about that now, though. It's just, it hurts my brain that City can just go in and do that, though, and just drop £100 million on a football player and just bring him in instantly. It's just, Villa are going to do well next season. I don't want to talk about the Prem too much because it's an EFL video, but I do think Villa will do well without him. But the transfer in itself is mental.
Yeah, but I think if that Aston Villa had no choice but to sell him for 100 million, they got
Exactly.
I think what their CEO said was spot on. They've brought in 3 players that will suit Jack Grealish.
Respect to that as well.
Mm.
Being honest and transparent with the fans, actually coming out and saying stuff to them. By the way, for the Villa CEO, that's a brilliant thing to see. Not enough big teams owners do that anymore. Actually come out and speak to the fans normally about stuff. But the way I see it, and I tweeted about this yesterday, I'd rather have Leon Bailey, Emi Buendia, and the other signings that they've made, Danny Ings as well, plus 100 million than just Jack Grealish. It's a no-brainer in my opinion.
Yeah, 100%. I think, as you said, we've got 3 players in Buendia, Bailey, and Ings, and that's better than just having one good key player, because you could just stick a man,
Exactly.
2 men on one player, whereas if you have 3 top quality players, it's going to be harder to contain them. And all 3 of them, well, apart from Bailey, have played at the Premier League. So yeah, but just let's go back into the Championship and let's move on to the top half. I think I am going to talk about Forest because I feel like it's wrong not to talk about Forest when we're doing an EFL video. I don't think they're going to go up. I don't. I put us 14th.
Nah, neither do I, to be fair. As much as I do like Forest after becoming friends with you guys, I can't see it happening. I think they'll finish top 10, I think they'll finish 9th perhaps, and I think that'll be a good satisfactory season for Forest, but going up is something I can't see him doing.
Honestly, I think upper mid-table, I take that as a positive. I don't see us making top 6. Quite a few people do, and I was sitting there thinking, am I just being a negative Forest fan? I put us 14th, which a lot of people have done similar.
I don't blame you for being negative after last season. I guess it's kind of just the thing at this point that you have to talk about with. So Forest just are a very negative club in general at the minute, really. They've not really made any signings over the window. They had a very lackluster, underwhelming season last year. Obviously bottom in the playoffs the year before. It's just been, a really horrible last couple of years for Forest. And I don't see that continuing much longer. I think there'll be a positive season with you guys this season, especially with Dane Murphy, the new CEO who's coming to place. I think if he allows Chris Hughton to make the signings that he wants to make, obviously as a Carlisle United fan, I really respect Chris Hughton. I rate him very highly. I think that perhaps good things could happen at Forest this season. Top 10 they could definitely do, but like I said, playoffs and automatics is kind of out of the realms of possibility for the time being.
Yeah, I think the only reason people could be positive is in Chris Hughton's first full season or his second season at clubs, the lowest he's finished is 4th. I can understand people being positive for that, but we signed Ethan Horvath, that's it. Ethan Horvath is a goalkeeper, and we arguably didn't need a goalkeeper.
You already have Brice Samba, so it doesn't really do much for you guys.
I think our sort of wingers and attacking midfields, they're good. Mighton, Lolly, Brennan. That I think those 3. If we could get
Brennan Johnson's very exciting. Should definitely keep an eye on him.
What I would do is I'll put Lolly on the right, Mighton on the left, and Brennan Johnson in behind. and with with a new striker in, I would love Luke Jeffcott, not just because of
Luke Jeffcott will be very good. But are the links still there for Luke Jeffcott? Because it's been a while since I last heard about it.
Plymouth, they signed a 2-year contract. He signed a 2-year contract with them, and I think that was because so they could get more money out of it. They originally priced him at 5 million, but then they put a release clause in his contract, I believe, that was about 7 million, and I don't think Forest are willing to pay that for one player.
Right.
Because we went and spent like 15 million last season when we didn't need to. We've not got as much money to use, which, okay, fair enough. Don't splash the cash if we can't.
The spending at Forest just seems a bit irresponsible, really. Just seems a bit all over the place.
I think the best window we had in terms of players was probably under Karanka. We got in Lolly then. We got in Graben. Right, Graben wasn't good last season, but he's still been a good servant. So
I think there is one signing though that this sign. I think it's staring at teams like Forest dead in the eye at the minute, and they're just not taking up the offer. Could very easily be done. He's a free agent at the minute, as we all know. Lionel Messi, bring him to the City grounds. Listen, at the end of the day, all you need to say to the man is that he will be feeding passes through to Brennan Johnson. So I think that's enough. And to Lewis Graben as well. I think that's enough to bring him to the City ground. That's all I'm saying. I think that's a good enough. He doesn't even need to get paid. Playing with Lewis Graben's enough. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm sure he can have as much coffee and as many ham cobs as he wants.
Exactly.
Honestly, I'm sure he would want to come to the City ground, 100%.
There's no good reason why he shouldn't, really.
After finishing 17th in the Championship, who would not want to come here? 100%.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Well, yes, let's move on to playoff predictions, that sort of thing.
All right.
Who do you think will get promoted, that sort of thing? Who do you think will?
Oh, it's tough. It's tough to talk about playoffs in any EFL league because they're always so tight. I think Bournemouth will definitely be in and around the playoffs. What I'll say is Bournemouth will be in and around the playoffs. I'll rephrase. Bournemouth have to be in and around the playoffs, basically. I'll have to rephrase that. They have to be. This is, in fact, their year to actually go and do something this season. After the seasons they've had back in the Championship, this is the chance they have now to properly kick on and go back up. And I think if they don't this season, it'll just be destined for Championship football for God knows how long it's going to be. There's a few other teams that you could make a case for, I guess, with the playoffs. It's the usual lot, basically, that people always expect to see go up when they're in the Championship. Fulham will definitely either be playoffs or automatics. I think Reading could definitely shoot for playoffs, try and get playoffs again. I think they could be one that could definitely break through. Swansea, West Brom, teams like that. Even Middlesbrough with the signing of Uche Piazzu and the other signings that they could make, they look quite promising this season. There's a lot of teams basically in and around the mix that could definitely go up, but it's hard to tell really in the EFL leagues.
Yeah, I think personally, West Brom have got a very good chance. They have just lost at time recording. Pereira has confirmed he's gone. I believe I'm not sure how you
joined Al Hilal.
That's it, yeah. So they've got
joined Al Hilal in the Saudi league. It's embarrassing. It's a waste of talent.
Yeah, I think what he put in his tweet, it was a life-changing offer for his. I think he was thinking of financially for his family.
And I get that and I respect that, but the guy was already on like 2 million plus a year. Like, you don't need more. There were Premier League teams in for him. West Ham wanted him. Like, you know what I mean? There were big teams that were after him. West Ham have Europa League football, but it just proves that in football, money talks now,
Yeah. But I do think West Brom, I put them first in my predictions. I rate Ishmael as a manager. Obviously, Alex Mowat has gone there. He was insane for them. Dean Garner's still there.
Yeah.
Colin Grant is a good Championship goal scorer. So
definitely underperformed last season, Colin Grant. I expected more from him really for West Brom, but just didn't show up.
But yes, I think Fulham as well. Harry Wilson, that is a great signing. He's nearly made 100 appearances at the Championship.
Yeah, that's a really good signing.
With Mitrovic as well.
I'm surprised that they'll manage to get that over the line. That's a mad signing. I didn't expect Liverpool to let Harry Wilson go, if I'm being honest. Like, I didn't see him as a player that they'd want to. I thought maybe another loan spell, but that's a mad signing for them. So I think he'll do well from this season. It should be good for them.
Yeah, obviously Paolo Gazzaniga has joined on a free transfer from Tottenham. That is another good signing for them as well. They've not, those are the only
big signing.
players that have come in. They haven't, as far as I'm aware, their only main player that they've lost is Stefan Johansson to QPR, who also a team I think will be up there.
Yeah.
Marcus Bentinelli has gone to Chelsea.
Actually, that's a big sign for, a big loss for them in a way, but at the same time, Chelsea, I don't see why they'd go after Bettinelli. They don't need him, but I do want to talk about, probably will be. I want to talk about quickly though, a player that excites me a lot for Fulham. That's Fabio Carvalho. Obviously, played in the Premiership last season. I watched him against Manchester United on the last day of the season, and he was it was coming up to the last day of the season. He was very good. He was very good against Manchester United. Played through the lines very well. Was pulling the strings, and I think he'll do very well in the Championship. Given the right amount of game time, he'll do very well in the Championship. I think he'll be an impact sub for Fulham. And another young player they have called Sylvester Jasper. He has recently went out on loan to Colchester back in League Two. So they've got a lot of good young talent at the minute, Fulham, and if they can nurture them and manage them well, they'll have a lot of exciting things to come forward.
Yeah, definitely. I think obviously they've still got your Harrison Reeds, your Bobby Reeds, all that, the Reeds. Cyrus Christie is an experienced right back at this level. Anthony Robertson is still a Fulham player. I'm not sure how long for he might go.
I think he might go.
He has been linked with other clubs as well. So they've got a good wealth of experience at the back. Tim Ream and Hector, those two good experienced players.
But Tim Ream is very good in fact. I want to watch that.
I think they have got a very good squad. I picked them for automatic promotion. I put them second in my predictions, but they could definitely win.
Yeah, they'll definitely finish up and around there. Definitely.
But I did touch on this team, QPR. I think they will get playoffs. I put them fifth in my predictions, and I think they will finish around there.
I'm looking forward to QPR. They have a very good energy around the club at the minute, don't they?
Yeah, and they went through such a rough patch of form under Mark Warburton. And when that happened at Forest, when he was the Forest manager, he was sacked. But QPR backed him, and look what happened. They finished ninth. So they've made some great signings, the likes of Jimmy Dunn, Stephen Johansson, Sam Field, Charlie Austin, Jordy DeWitt, I think is how you say his name, and Sam Field. Those are just some of the signings they've made. So definitely exciting things are happening at QPR.
Very good atmosphere around the club at the minute, definitely. There are a lot of people there that are hopeful.
And also another team is Sheffield United. I do feel like we're going to have a similar situation to Watford, Norwich and Bournemouth last season. The three relegated clubs are going to be really, really good, which, you normally get two of them that are good and then one of them that's really bad, but I think all three of them will make the top six in some way.
Yeah, definitely. Sheffield United, it's the fact that they had such a woeful season in the Prem, and obviously the confidence would have been low at that point, but I think moving back up, I think they should be good. I mean, obviously, after Carlisle go and batter them 3-0 in the cup, they might not be as happy as they once were, but I think for now they can count the chickens, and they can definitely consider themselves as a promotion chasing team, because I think they'll definitely go back up.
Yeah, so they've got Jukanovic as their manager, who he's been promoted with Fulham before. They haven't actually brought anyone in yet, but I do think they've got a very good championship squad. Ryan Brewster.
Yeah, I don't think they really need to sign many people. The fact they've kept the core of their team's good enough for them, honestly.
The only key player that they've lost is John Lundstrom to Rangers. They did lose Simon Moore, but he was only a backup goalkeeper, so yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
So I don't think they're going to change too much, to be fair, at Bramall Lane. But
no.
Yeah, any other thoughts on Sheffield United?
Not really. I mean, it's a given that they're going to go back up, I think. I think they've got a very solid team. Players like Oliver Norwood, ex-Carlisle United, man. Love him. But I think they'll go up. I think they will. Or whether it's automatics or not, I think one way or another, they'll find their way back into the Premiership. And I think they might be back with a bang next season. They might be back with a vengeance. Obviously, their first season in the Prem, not too long ago, their first season back, they finished, I think, was it 9th or something? Something really, really good finish for a team like that.
So same to Leeds, which could
exactly.
Leeds get second season syndrome? I doubt
it. I think they will to an extent. Leeds will to an extent. I think they'll finish 10th. That's what I said at least. I hear a lot of Leeds fans saying they're going to get European football. I don't think they will. But hey, I wish them all the best. I don't mind Leeds as a club. Really, the fans kind of annoy me at times, but the club itself I don't mind. So maybe they'll do well next season. Who knows?
Obviously, Forest won the league when we beat Leeds 2-0.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I always hear about that.
We beat the team top of the league who went to beat Manchester City, the Premier League title winners, 2-1. Yeah, so we're not allowed to celebrate, lads. We're not allowed to celebrate. But yeah,
No.
I think Leeds, just touching on Leeds again, it's the Championship, well, an EFL video, but I think they'll get second season syndrome to a degree, but not as bad as Sheffield United. But yeah.
No way, no.
Yeah, so is there anyone else you want to talk about that's pushing for promotion and championship?
Well, I'll just give my top three. I'll give the top three that I think will go up. And it's very boring because, it's the same clubs that went down, but Sheffield United, Fulham, West Brom, that's my final statement for that. I think they'll be the three teams that go up automatically. And then in the playoffs, probably Bournemouth. I think they'll know that they need to go up again this season. I think Bournemouth will be the ones to go up with them.
Yeah. Yeah, I think Swansea, I don't think, obviously they lost. They were the best of the rest because they lost the playoff final. But I think Cooper's gone. It doesn't look great at the moment. So I think they won.
Yeah, Swansea's a mess at the minute, if I'm being honest. Swansea's a mess with Cooper gone, and that some of the players that are deciding to leave as well. It's not looking good for them.
Yeah, so we'll have to wait and see. But is there anything else you want to add overall?
Not really. Just but yeah, hopeful for this season. Looking forward to going to the game tomorrow. First league fixture since like January 2020, so I'm looking forward to it. Up the Blues, and it's been a pleasure being on the podcast. Thanks very much for having me on for the first episode.
Yeah, no problem. Check out Kyan's channel. Link will be in the description. Check out his Twitter as well. That link will be in the description. Yeah, subscribe to both of us, and yeah, thank you for watching. Like and subscribe, as I said. I'll see you in the next one. Up the Forest.